Hello, everybody. Have you ever met somebody who is a treasure? We are about to do that right now on The Phil Show. Welcome. Joining us is Suzanna De Vegh, the art director of the New Bedford Art Museum, and somebody who is stunning. Are you a curious person?
Yeah.
You are curious.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, what are the qualities to be a keeper of the treasures?
Oh, goodness. I think fundamentally you have to care about people. Art is a wonderful coded language, and it brings us beauty and harmony. It challenges us intellectually, emotionally. And when you have an art museum, it's about gathering the community to sort of partake of these ideas and of this beauty, and to talk about these ideas and to celebrate. So I think fundamentally you just really have to be interested in sharing information and knowledge, and receiving knowledge from others.
Absolutely. How do you do that through art? How does art, for instance, depict the local community? What kind of echo is on that canvas?
Well, every artist has a different interests, multiple interests, different preoccupations, different agendas. But we invite many local artists to exhibit at the Art Museum. And it's often organized around a particular thought or theme. I mean, one recent example was our Arctic Voices exhibition, which was a look across time and across cultures at a region, at the Arctic. And so we had indigenous people's work, we had contemporary artists commenting on climate change, and then we had 19th century explorer artists like William Bradford, and then the photographers who accompanied him on an 1869 expedition to Greenland. And so we had multiple perspectives on this region across 150 years.
Were you aware that somebody from New Bedford actually walked back from the frozen tundra, and they have it documented at Spinner Books? It's a fascinating story that would coincide with that theme beautifully. That's just something that I wanted to add. You added so much. This museum has bounced back to life in the last, since you have arrived.
Thanks. We're working on it.
So that's synergy. What is your philosophy about art?
That's a huge question. I think it's about bringing people together around ideas, and art is a beautiful way to deliver ideas. And I think sometimes I think part of the fun, at least for me, when I look at a work of art, first, when I walk into an exhibition, it's about understanding, what is the curator trying to tell me? Why has this group of works been assembled? For what purpose? What are the questions they're posing? What are the statements they're making? What are they trying to elicit from the viewer? What's the story here? And then the individual works of art, what story is that telling, or stories? And I have a lot of fun exploring and thinking about that as an individual. So therefore, I try to create provocative exhibitions.
Name a piece that you have right now whose backstory is the most fascinating. Look at this. I love it.
Oh, I'm laughing, Phil, because we have this truly spectacular chandelier. You haven't seen it. You don't know about it. You have to come over. And the story is unreal. So we had an education manager who I hired shortly after I arrived. So this would have been around November of 2022. And she had just finished a stint at Round the Bend Farm. She had been working, she was involved with their summer camp. And they had invited her back for the annual holiday party. And they said to her, well, why an art museum? And she said, well, I really love art. And she was regaling them with tales of having just visited Florida, and she was showing them pictures of Dale Chihuly's work. And then somehow, the stars aligned, and the person who is the owner of that farm, Ellen McFarland, this is how the story came to me, said to the director, we actually have a Chihuly and we're looking for a nonprofit to gift it to. And our former colleague, our education manager, Marisol, ran across the room and said, I work at the art museum, we're interested. And so it was a matter of connecting and organizing the transport of this magnificent sculpture. And we're so grateful to the McFarlands for making this exceptionally generous donation to the museum. And so I had to work with an engineer and an architect and a lighting designer and a team that is trained and experienced specifically in Chihuly chandeliers. And so there's one group on the West Coast, one group on the East Coast. So we brought them in from Florida, transported the chandelier, cleaned it, and then here's the cool part. If you didn't know how these chandeliers are constructed, so there's more than 300 individually blown glass pieces. They look like tendrils and spirals.
Oh, wow.
And they are attached to an armature. It's almost like...
Are they delicate?
They're very delicate. And the armature is metal, and it's almost like putting ornaments on a Christmas tree. So every time this beautiful sculpture is disassembled and reassembled, it's slightly different, which I think is neat. And I don't know how familiar you are with Chihuly, but often his work is very brightly colored and exuberant, and often primary colors. But our chandelier is titled Luminous Silver, and it's lovely pale shades of blue and silver and gold. Oh, wow. And it's just stunning. And when we have children at the museum, we ask them, we try to start by asking them questions rather than giving them lots of information up front, so that they really look and share with us their impressions. And it's swirling and twirling and active, and it's like almost like the writhing snakes of Medusa's head. Oh, but it's a lot of different things. But anyway, that's a once in a lifetime story. So we decided to cover it. And this is a strange, not every museum might do this, but I thought, let's prepare and let's plan to unveil this and have a huge 3-day celebration with guest speakers and a dance performance and the New Bedford Symphony Orchestra's musicians who a string quartet came and performed. We had the director of American art from the Smithsonian come and speak. So we thought, this is a once in a lifetime gift. Let's give it its due and celebrate this wonderful gift.
More of this amazing discussion in a minute. But first, please like, follow, and share The Phil Show now. Thank you so much. Let me thank the good folks at iGreen Landscape, your one-stop solution for your residential and commercial property management. Whether it's snowing or whether you're mowing, let Team iGreen handle your landscape and hardscape year-round. From spring cleanups to commercial snow management, I recommend the good folks at iGreen Landscape. Call for your complimentary consultation today. Our guest is so fascinating. The director of the New Bedford Art Museum is with us. And Suzanne, it is such a pleasure to have you go through this treasure chest with us.
The pleasure's mine. Thanks, Phil.
This area, New Bedford, obviously has history. How does the museum reflect the local history of, well, various things from shipping and the Underground Railroad and so many other things?
Primarily through partnerships. That's one of the many wonderful things about New Bedford is that there are many willing organizations that are open to collaborating. So the New Bedford Historical Society, the New Bedford Free Public Library, we have a wonderful partnership with them where we collaborate and present exhibits several times a year. They lent us the William Bradford paintings that I referenced earlier.
Yes.
And they have lent us first edition Audubon prints, Birds of America. That was another exhibition we did several times. And so the city has this marvelous collection with a very strong in 19th century painting and works on paper. So what we like to do is find different ways to contextualize this work thematically and connect it to the ideas of our time.
What does that really do? Tell us what it means.
It means that you can take a work of art from the 19th century and you can apply different lenses to it. You can talk about climate change, you could talk about immigration, you could talk about any number of subjects that matter deeply to people and that are particularly relevant now. You can talk about the whole history that surrounds that object, and you can talk about, there's so many different ways to look at it. So what we like to do, what we strive to do, is find different entry points and examine it through different lenses.
So if you could exhibit any artist's work, living or deceased?
Oh gosh, that's such a question. Oh gosh. Well, maybe I should talk about this area that we have focused on, which art that engages your senses. And there are areas within the art world that are rising. Sound art, floral art, olfactory art, art that engages your sense of smell.
Let's go back. Oh, I love it. Let's go back. Describe each one briefly.
Sure.
Sound art, such as...
Well, I could tell you about...
I see colors.
Oh, really? You have synesthesia?
Yes, I do. I see colors.
When you listen to music?
When I listen to your voice.
Oh.
All right. So is that the kind of art that we're talking about?
Well, sure. I was going to tell you about this one piece that was part of an exhibition that we had that I co-curated with Professor Walker Downey, who's a professor at UMass. And it was called, now I hope I get the order correct, Sound in Space, Sound in Place.
Space,
and that was in the spring of 2023. So it's just about 2 years ago. And one of the pieces was made by a person who at that point was still in graduate school at RISD. Mm-hmm. And it was entitled Whirly Chorus. And she took a child's toy. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these corrugated plastic tubes, and if you spin it very fast, it makes a sound.
Yes.
Well, that tube is very similar structurally to the human vocal
larynx?
cords.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the larynx. So what she said is that, she's very interested in that. She's interested in instruments and the human voice, and also technology. So she sort of augmented this by writing code for a small motor. And she attached the tube to a motor. And she wrote the code so that it would either spin very, very slowly, so slowly that it would be virtually impossible
Right.
and too tedious for a human to do. And by the same token, spin it so fast that it wouldn't be possible to do manually. So when you spin these tubes, they make this wonderful droning sound. So she created 3 of these, and they were really beautiful, not only to listen to, but to look at, because they had this retro futuristic vibe. And they were small square boxes, and then there was this piece of neon colored plexi. And then the tube was also a beautiful neon contrasting color. And so they were timed, and you didn't know, the visitor wouldn't know that they were timed. And you'd be standing in the gallery, and all of a sudden they would start. And each one of these sculptures was like a singer in a chorus, and together they created this strange harmonics. So that's an example of sound art. But sound art it takes many forms, many incarnations. That's the beauty of it. People interpret it differently.
Absolutely.
And we're excited to introduce these, not always new, but newly understood or newly appreciated art forms.
And I'm so glad you're making this community aware of what's going on, plus events going on. We'll talk about that and more when we return. More of this amazing discussion in a minute, but first, please like, follow, and share The Phil Show now. If you're ready to finally make your biggest dreams a reality, let my friend Jared Methia at Milestone Mortgage Solutions get you your next mortgage or your next home loan. Jared is a trusted local loan officer who works with some of the most reputable companies. Jared reminds me if you're a first-time home buyer or maybe you're looking to refinance. He says, go to him. And I, too, recommend Jared Methia, providing you with a stress-free experience. Call Jared today for a competitive rate, for quick approvals, and for one-of-a-kind personalized service. That's Jared Methia at Milestone Mortgage Solutions. You can now watch The Phil Show whenever you'd like. Like, follow, and share The Phil Show now. And catch us wherever you catch your favorite podcasts. Like, follow, and please share The Phil Show now with a friend. The Phil Show now. Welcome back, folks.
Thank you.
It is so nice to have you here. You, as a curator, are you like the keeper of all of these different treasures there?
No, we are only just beginning to have a permanent collection. And the first major piece in our collection was the Chihuly sculpture, the beautiful chandelier. And then we were gifted some other magnificent works of art. I didn't mention to you that we received 6 NASA photographs of nebulae, and they're spectacular, and that happened this past summer. So we organized an exhibition around those photographs, and we had a really wonderful exhibit called Nebulae, the Universe Unveiled. And it was a celebration of the night sky and of science and an exploration of deep space. And these photographs were taken with the Hubble and the Webb telescopes.
I want you to go back, choose the moment, or a moment, Suzanne, where art made such an impact on you that it changed either your life or your perspective on something. It was enormous. Where was that, and what was it about?
It was at PS1 in 1999.
The school?
Well, it was a museum. It is a museum. It merged with MoMA in 2002. But at that time, I was working there. And of all the museums I worked in New York, that might have been my favorite because it was so challenging.
What was it? Such as?
Well, there was a piece there, and let me see if I can remember the name of the artist, Javier Tellez. And he had a piece, let me see if I can remember the name. I'll describe it to you first.
Yes.
It was a giant wooden birdhouse. And when you walked into the space, you could hear the song Volare. And it was, there were videos of Bedlam. And the birdhouse was a metaphor in some ways for how mental illness can be like a prison. And I was profoundly moved by it.
I can see why. We'll find out what you're doing with your gifts when we come back.
More of this amazing discussion in a minute. But first, please like, follow, and share The Phil Show now. Thank you so much. Carefree Homes is an award-winning home improvement company. It's been family-owned and operated since 1978. For over 46 years of business and thousands of satisfied customers, this company is A+ rated. It's an accredited member of the Better Business Bureau. And listen to this, no payments until the project is completed. How's that? Financing options are available for roofing, siding, windows, doors, decks, you name it. CarefreeHomesCompany.com. Call for a free quote. 508-997-1111. CarefreeHomesCompany.com.
Welcome back. There's a lot to be said about the New Bedford Art Museum, and we can credit a whole field of people led by Suzanna De Vegh. Tell us about some events coming up. Obviously, how do you exhibit art? Is there an art to exhibiting art?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a process where you're selecting work to advance certain ideas, of course. And it's about investigating history sometimes,
Yes.
Often, and presenting things in a way that when the viewer walks in, there's a logic to it. And it doesn't have to be explained to you. It's apparent. It's a kind
It's
of
a story.
It's a story, yes.
And you are a storyteller of sorts.
Yes, I would say so.
Yes.
And of course, it's about professionally installing the work and professionally lighting it and developing didactics, wall text, labels that support people's learning. And right now I'm developing an audio guide, which I'm so excited about.
That's what an education, and that's what a rich background, and that's what being born into that richness does to somebody, Suzanne. It's an honor to have somebody of your intellect in this community to gather.
Thank you.
Absolutely. But I'm interested in the blue color, the red. When I walk into a museum, am I looking at colors? How do I look at something? It's without my second voice saying, what are you looking at?
I think a lot of times people automatically go and they look at a label and they want to be told what they're looking at. And I much prefer to invite people to look first and to develop a relationship with that thing in front of them and to really look, because the longer you look, the more is revealed to you and the piece will speak to you. It'll tell you what it is. It'll tell you what it's about. And it's nice when you have an audio guide or one of our docents who will talk to you about a little bit about the biography of the artist, a little bit about technique, perhaps, a little bit about the concept for the piece, about the artist's intentions. I mean, we'll sort of knit together many different aspects or pieces of
Yes.
information
Of
so
course.
that you have context for the piece.
And that story is made full. And if somebody didn't know quite a lot about it, they can learn.
Yes.
And that's a beautiful seed. That's a wonderful level to be at. And how do we form a desire to have that relationship with art?
I think if a museum has its doors open and there's opportunities for free admission, which we do frequently, and you have really friendly, warm people greet you and thank you for coming, and then you have artist talks like the one we have tonight with Deb Coolidge and previously with Nancy Train Smith. We almost always have an art talk on AHA night.
You're involved in the community.
Very much so. Yeah, we're proud to be part of this community, this incredibly vibrant, creative community.
Your projects, they're all over the place. Coloring, all kinds of things.
Oh, the
going
Artmobile?
on. And that too.
Yeah. Workshops, classes, public programs, our enchanted evenings, poetry, dance, music, film.
What's surprised you the most since coming to New Bedford?
Gosh. Probably, I came to lead the art museum, but I didn't know before I got here, but was instantly deeply impressed by the music scene,
Why?
the caliber of the musicians.
Tell me more.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think the first AHA I attended was probably 3 years ago.
Right.
And, I got to remember Manny's last name. He was playing in front of Allison Wells Gallery. And I started crying. I was so moved by his performance. And we had this moment. And he understood. He just understood that this happens. And maybe it happens all the time, but he's remarkably talented. And there's so many good musicians here. I didn't know that till I got here.
It takes a lot of courage to show what you are in art. What would you be in art? What shape would you be, first of all?
Gosh. I'd be a landscape.
Color?
Oh, beautiful orangey sunset.
Surface? Texture?
Oh, well, there's an artist I just met, and if I could be like one of his paintings, I'd be just so happy. And his last name is Stone, and I'm blanking on his first name. And he is going to be included in the Best of South Coast. There'll be names that you know.
Oh, great.
Many names that you know, and then some new artists and some younger folks.
I was thinking about that. Is it tough for a local artist to compete against, somebody who is established? How do they get up there and balance that act?
Well, we're always looking. Our
Good.
eyes and ears
Yeah.
are open, and we're attuned to the various communities. And so we're always looking to find that balance, and we will have people in their early 20s through their early 80s in this exhibit. So I'm really excited. People from all different walks of life, different backgrounds. The demographics of our city will be represented in this exhibit. We always strive to do that with our staff, with our board, with our exhibits, with our programs, to reflect our city.
What a wonderful ambassador you are.
Thank you. I'm so happy to just have this chance to do this work because it's very fulfilling and exciting. Our gala is coming up on June 10th, and the exhibition that we're offering in conjunction with this important anniversary, as I mentioned earlier, is the Best of South Coast Artists Exhibit, and it looks at 200 years of art, and it will be many different genres: landscape, portraiture, goodness, everything really.
And how long will the exhibit?
3 months.
Fabulous.
Yeah, it's going to be wonderful. Our gala, as I mentioned, is on June 10th at the museum from 6 to 8:30. the New Bedford Symphony Orchestra will be presenting a string quartet of a young composer. We commissioned a young composer who's a student at UMass to create an original piece in honor of our 30th anniversary. There will be an aerialist who's performing on what looks like the rig of a whaling ship.
Oh my
And so it's really
goodness.
going to be a spectacular night.
It is.
We're going to be unveiling a beautiful painting, a rare painting that was gifted to us. So it's going to be a big surprise for everyone. And then we have our Patron of the Arts Award, which we will bestow upon Mayor Mitchell. So it's going to be quite a night.
That is going to be a great night. And we're happy to celebrate that energy with you. Thank you so much for who you are in the community, what you do in our community. And finally, if there is a philosophy of life that you have, if there is, what would it be?
Gosh. Enjoy every moment. I like smelling the flowers every morning.
Thank you for coming here.
You're welcome. Thank you.